Let's create your Instagram strategy for 2022 with the goal of building your business, building brand awareness, and building your Instagram account all organically. In this video, I'll be sharing the 3 most important strategies that you want to include in your Instagram plan for 2022, and I'll be sharing a little bit of a bonus tip at the end. If you're new here, hello, I'm Natasha. I'm an Instagram strategist, and I really help small businesses shine on Instagram with a strategy that's not overwhelming and really leveraging the power of Instagram video. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe and like this video because I'm ready to drop all the gems. Let's get right into it. The first Instagram strategy that you want to use in 2022 is making a good first impression using your profile. We all know the history of Instagram. It started with photos, with grids, with some really cheesy filters, and it's really evolved over the years. So I know it can be confusing on figuring out, does your grid really even matter anymore? And I'm here to say yes, but not in the same way that it used to be. My philosophy from working with all different types of brands with their Instagram strategy is that you have to make a good first impression for people to even follow you, let alone to invest in your offers, your services, or your products. If we're being honest, we've probably scrolled on Instagram, maybe discovered a new account or saw someone refer something, and then you go to their Instagram profile and you're just feeling like it's a hot mess. You can't really get their vibe. It's really hard for you to fully trust them and get to know their brand, which means you probably didn't follow them or you just left their Instagram page altogether. So this is why this is the most important part of your strategy that you want to implement first. The first element of this is branding. And branding your Instagram profile doesn't mean that it has to be perfect, but it does mean that there's going to be consistent elements that people will then grow to recognize with your brand. For example, for my Instagram, color is a really big part of my entire grid, my highlights, my Instagram stories tags. That's really what I lean on. But everything else, I sometimes use phone photos, I sometimes use graphics, and I sometimes use professional photography. But I have that consistent thread that keeps me memorable, and that is color. But this can really look different depending on your business. One of my favorite brands, Gold, they are known for their grid kind of looking like a no edit type of iPhone filter photography. It's really relatable, it's really community driven with user-generated content, and it's quite imperfect, but it all has the same look and feel, which is why their community has grown to love the feel that they get from their brand, which means it's grown their business and sold some products. The other element you want to consider when making a good first impression is your stories content and your highlights. People love to binge when being introduced to a new Instagram profile or when they're considering taking that next step like joining your email list or buying a product. So it's important that you have content there where they can really get to know you, and stories are the best place to do this. Stories are really known for being kind of a little bit less perfect video content, and it's really known for being that connection point and showing more behind the scenes of your business. So ideally, you want to be posting really regularly on your Instagram stories. Daily is ideal, so that you have full stories when people go to your profile so they can start tapping through it and getting your vibe. Along with that, you want to save your best Instagram stories content to highlights. And the strategy that I found has worked best for me for consistently getting replies on my highlights and then really nurturing my audience and giving them a lot of value is by making them very specific. So for example, instead of just having one Instagram tips highlight, which would become very, very long, very quick, I have specific highlights geared towards specific topics. This ensures that when people are going to look for answers for their question or looking for specific content, they can easily tap through that entire highlight without it being literally millions of stories for them to consume, which is overwhelming for viewers. Along with your highlights, you want to make sure you choose a vibe for your highlight covers. So going back to what I mentioned with branding, you want to lean on colors, maybe icons, photos, whatever it is, you want to use it consistently because it really adds another visual element to your entire Instagram profile. The other element that's going to help you create a really great first impression in 2022 is your actual bio. Can I clearly see what you do, who you are, what you offer, what you're an expert at, and why I should even care to follow you? This isn't the place to put fun facts about you, like your favorite food. This is the place to really show what differentiates you on the Instagram platform so people can get an idea of exactly what you do. So for example, if you look at my Instagram bio, I say that I'm clearly an Instagram strategist and a speaker. So if you need help with Instagram strategy or you want to hire me as a speaker to do this, that means you are in the right place. And I say help businesses shine. So I don't help influencers, I specifically help small businesses. And then I also have my podcast. So not only is that building authority, but it's showing another place that people can consume my content. And if they happen to have found me from the podcast, they know they are in the right place. I am the right Shine with Natasha. And I also have a really clear place for people to start engaging with my content. This is kind of a little bit of a hack if you're wanting to increase the views on your stories, on your highlights, is quite literally putting it in your actual bio. And then I have a very clear call to action, whatever it is that I'm focusing on during that time. Maybe it's sales, maybe it's selling a workshop, maybe it's just my freebie. I make sure that that's up to date. So it gives people a starting point no matter where they're at. Along with having a very clear bio, you want to make sure you're including those other visual elements on your entire profile. So your actual profile image should either be a logo if you're a bigger brand, or it should be a photo of you if you're the head of your business or a personal brand. Ideally, you want this to be super clear, you want it to be chest up, and you want it to be a high quality photo. And if color or props are a part of your brand, you want to make sure it's in that photo. I cannot tell you the amount of times that I've seen really bad group photos or selfies that are the actual profile photo. It just doesn't make a good first impression. So you want to ideally avoid that. And the final branding element to make a really good first impression is your actual profile and your grid. When people scroll through it, can they easily find content? Can they navigate it? Does it have some type of consistent elements? It can actually be quite inorganic, which is kind of the vibe I go for my profile, but there are some consistent elements like how I use my Reels cover photos, how my graphics look, and how I edit my photos. So you want to really consider that as the final element. The second strategy that you want to implement in 2022 to grow your Instagram account is holistically using as many Instagram features as possible. Gone are the days where you can just post photos on your feed. No, photos are not dead. You can still post feed content. In fact, I post carousels all the time, but you want to make sure that you're leveraging as many Instagram features as possible. Minimum 2, ideally all 5. So let's kind of cover what all the 5 Instagram features are. First, we have the feed, and this is where either static photos, videos, or carousels, which are multiple photo posts, will go. Personally, I love to use this when using carousels, whether they're photos or graphics, because people just tend to spend more time engaging on those pieces of content because it really draws them into the post. And this is really where you want to do a lot of your high value content, like showing your products, giving really in-depth insights, or just inspiring your audience. Then we have Instagram stories. Instagram stories are expiring content, so they don't last forever, which means there's a lot of incentive for people to go and view them, engage with them. And it's so incredibly valuable because when people reply or react to an Instagram story, they are automatically getting to a one-on-one conversation with you. And a one-on-one conversation with your warm leads, your ideal customers, is gold. So you really want to use stories to not only offer value, but to really show the behind the scenes of your brand, who you are, your personality. You don't just want to post randomly, but you do want to post intentionally and the most frequently for all the types of content. Then we have Instagram Lives, and this is where you can live stream video content. And now you have the ability to add up to 3 people onto your Instagram Lives in a live room. So this is really great for conversations, Q&As, panels, mini trainings, or just casual chats. Lives are the most engaging piece of content because people are engaging in the moment, not after the fact in a comment section or in your DMs. So I find this is the best way to really connect with my community and build those relationships even deeper, and to utilize long form content on Instagram. Speaking of long form content, we then have Instagram video, which is formerly IGTV. So Instagram video is essentially for long form video content or any videos that are just shared to the feed. This is really where you're going to want to leverage storytelling and using every second clip and element in that video to lead your viewers on a journey. Or if you're wanting to not edit content, this is where your Instagram lives can be posted as a replay. So if you want to get 2-in-1 there, this is a really great strategy to utilize. And then of course, we know the fifth and final, which is Reels. Reels are for short form looping video content, and they tend to lean on the entertaining side and leveraging trends. But there also are unique ways that you can use Reels if you're wanting to talk to camera, do mini vlogs, and really get creative with just shorter pieces of content. But Reels overall, if I look back at 2021 and 2020, is the #1 way that I have been increasing my reach, which means organic growth for my account. So hopefully that overview kind of gave you an idea of how you can utilize each one differently for your Instagram content. The goal here is to post as consistently as possible. Instagram said they don't want us to necessarily post more content, but to really post more consistently high quality content, which means don't just post on every single platform just to post. Choose what makes sense for the type of content that you want to create for your brand. Going back to the goal of wanting to grow organically on Instagram in 2022, this is the best way to do it because there are multiple algorithms on Instagram, because Reels has its own algorithm, Stories has its own algorithm, and the feed and Explore page have all their own algorithms entirely, which is why by utilizing different surfaces, you essentially can increase your chances that you're going to be in multiple places to either get discovered or get in front of your current audience. If you're finding this video incredibly valuable, can you please give it a thumbs up? It really helps support my new blossoming channel. And the third strategy that you're going to want to implement for great growth on Instagram is to actually create content worth engaging with. I know this sounds really simple, but by really focusing on what your ideal follower wants to see, you're gonna create better content, which is gonna make it easy for Instagram to push that out to new people that are truly going to become followers, which is our goal. We can create all the viral reels in the world, but if we're not really focusing on quality content for the people we want to attract, they might not even follow you in the long run. You might just get a bunch of views and not see a lot of results in your business. So here's a few tips to help you if you're really wanting to boost engagement on your content. The first is making sure that you're adding calls to action on your content. How do you want people to engage? Do you want them to save or share your content? Are you prompting them on how they should interact with stickers on your stories? Or are you just encouraging them to comment and share their thoughts on whatever it is your content is about? Sometimes people just need to be trained and reminded that they are welcome to engage on your content. The second tip is specific to Instagram stories. You want to make it really easy for people to engage with your story stickers, which really drive engagement. Instead of saying an ask me anything question sticker, get really specific on what you want that series to be about. Is it questions about a certain topic? Or are you maybe getting a little fancy and doing some assumptions around your industry to really prompt conversation? The third tip is create carousel content, which have multiple slides, photos, or graphics that really solve a problem. If you're really struggling on how to create high value content, problem solving is what is going to give your viewers, your followers, a reason to engage with your content. So if their problem is growing organically on Instagram, I'm going to create a carousel that's breaking down every step that they need, which is exactly what I'm doing in this video. And even if you don't have an educational style business, there are constantly problems that your audience might need help with solving. They just might not be super hard hitting. It could just be they want an easier way to do their morning routine. Maybe that means you're recommending a product, a ritual, or an app that they can use. The fourth engagement tip for you is really getting opinionated with your content related to your industry. Opinionated content is really great for creating conversation, but also differentiating you from other people in your industry. So are you seeing a topic that's going around, but maybe you have a unique perspective or thoughts on it? Then you want to lean into that and lean into your value system that differentiates you from other accounts on Instagram. And the great thing about these opinionated pieces of content is they naturally start conversation, which means more comments, more shares, and more replies on stories specifically. My fifth tip is specifically for Instagram Reels. Make sure they are easy to digest, consume, and very loopable, because that's exactly how TikTok and Reels work. When it comes to growing and increasing your reach with Reels, the best bet you're going to have is using trending audios on Reels. This is going to increase the likeliness that Instagram is going to push it out specifically on the Reels feed and algorithm. The best way to know this is by just going through the Reels feed and seeing what commonly is coming up, but also look at that trending arrow in the bottom corner to see what is trending at that time and leverage it as soon as possible. With Reels, the shorter the better. This will increase the amount of times that people will loop or rewatch your content, which really tells Instagram, this is great content, you should push it out to more people, but it also increases the chances that they're going to comment on it or even share it on their stories.
I'm gonna let God fix it, because if I fix it, I'm going to jail.
And my final engagement tip is to have connection points for your brand. No matter what type of business you are, people are tired of feeling like they don't really know the businesses and brands they want to invest in. This is why it's really important to humanize your brand using Instagram. This means showing yourself or your team by leveraging video and having connection points that are related to your industry. For example, I know my ideal client, chances are having a warm beverage in the mornings to start their day off. So I share my matcha ritual all the time on my Instagram stories, and it's a conversation starter. It makes me human, makes me relatable, and it really connects us versus me always talking about Instagram all the time. And now on to the bonus tip specifically to help you with growth and engagement, and that is to collaborate. You don't just need to create content on your own. There's so many really great features that you can leverage to essentially tap into new audiences and add a whole different perspective to your content. Be sure to watch the video I have somewhere up here where I teach you how to use the collaborative feature, but you can essentially co-create content with other creators, other educators, and with complementary industries or even your own clients. This is a really great way to literally double the amount of reach that you have because you're reaching two separate audiences, and if you choose the right accounts, they're going to be complementary to your business. Another way to do this is by using lives. I already mentioned before, lives are a really great way to create community engagement. Whenever I do a live room with another account, whether it's another educator or even my own clients, I always find that I get 50 to 100 new followers at a time, mainly because they are people that probably be a part of my community anyway, but it really makes it easy to discover new people through these live rooms. Essentially, if you go to an Instagram live room as a viewer, you can easily tap the bottom part and see all the different accounts that are part of that room, which makes it really easy to discover new accounts and follow them. It just makes going live a lot easier. It's a lot more conversational instead of just talking to your phone. And those are the three most important components you want to include in your Instagram strategy for 2022. Please let me know which one are you most excited to deep dive into when you're building out your plan. I'd love to know in the comments, and I will see you guys next time in my next video.